Shop Report with
Barbershop Shay.
What up, sports fans? Welcome to the Shop Report special presentation of the Turnbuckle. I, of course, am your host, none other than Double J. And today we got quite a few things to get through in a very short amount of time, unfortunately. And so without further ado, I want to address some folks in the room, the first of which is my guy, D Gully.
What's up? What's up, sports fans? What's up, Turnbuckle fans? It is time. It is time.
Whoa, I wasn't done yet.
You wasn't done yet? Oh, I'm sorry. I jumped the gun. Oh, I just came out there. I just interrupted, right? I'm sorry.
The music didn't even drop, you know. Do you remember when do you remember at WCW when the pyro would go off in the middle of the matches?
Yes, yeah. Yeah.
That was the closest thing that we got to that. So for those
yes. Yeah, the pyro went off in the middle of the match. Yeah.
Disaster, great time. And so I did want to say he is, of course, the hailing from, let's see, I'm going to say the crown jewel of the Buckeye realm.
Oh.
What do you think about that?
That works. That works. But you know what? People know about me. They've either had enough of me or they know of me or had enough of me, right? But today, once again, we were able to bring one of our guys back, right? An esteemed colleague of mine, hailing all the way from Starkyville.
That's right, the Dominion of Colossal Wonders.
Yes, he is. He is Paul from Starkville. Let's give Paul.
Where's my Ted DiBiase theme music playing? I need the Ted DiBiase theme music.
We're gonna work on that. See if we can get that through. Clear the sample.
Money. Just play me singing it. It's fine. It's completely royalty free because it's. Well, I'll sing it badly, and now it's royalty free. It's a new, creative piece of art. There you go.
They'll pay us to shut up. That's all right. You sing it.
That's right. Well, again, welcome to you both, of course. And I'm going to throw a few things at you quickly here. The first of which that I want to gauge your guys' opinion on comes from none other than Jim Ross. Good old JR.
Good old JR.
He was not very pleased with this image that you see here. And again, what he had to say is that, again, this image was leaked. So offhand, are either of you, before I read what good old JR had to say, what do you guys notice? What's your personal takeaways just from seeing something like this?
Paul, what do you think? I can go or you can go.
I'm gonna give you the real quick setup. That looks like a wrestling ring with some wrestlers in it, but nobody has a syringe in their mouth. Scully, it's up to you.
All right. So I see, as awful as this image is for professional wrestling, it's still not as awful as, not as dangerous for the business as some of the things we've seen from AEW. I'm guessing that's what Paul's take is, but I don't want to speak for him. That's just my critique of what he's getting at.
No, I quite sincerely don't even know what I'm seeing. It looks like a WWE ring, and I'm not sure what this is a reference to, so please don't quote me if this is a recent thing that I'm just out of the loop on.
So okay, all right. So I'll actually go ahead. Then I'll take it a step further.
Yep.
So just in the image itself, what can be seen is Randy Orton in mid conversation with Gunther. Of course, those two are arch rivals. Additionally, you had the Wyatt Six that can be seen in the front row, naturally out of character and out of costume. And there's Triple H near the bottom of your screen, speaking to Drew McIntyre near the entrance ramp there. And so what this did, and I think one of you may have mentioned some AEW folks in that image as well. And so on his podcast, Grilling JR, he shared this quote: "Somebody's a chicken. Quite frankly, it's just unprofessional and has no place. Whoever did it should be fired. Simple as that. Shouldn't go to HR. Just say, look, we're done. You broke a rule that's important to maintain." But that picture is very revealing. It tells multiple stories. And so in that respect, it's unique. As you can see, all the talents hanging around. That's kind of a typical thing. Everybody's going through their paces, talking, trying to get their timing together, all of those things. So it's daunting. I don't like it. I don't like it when things like that happen. And
okay, so for me, that sounds like JR's upset about kayfabe being upset. Is that your
right? It's gone. It's broken.
Way off case. In 2024, JR in AEW is upset about kayfabe being broken. Can someone please get me a phone number to call?
Call JR.
Because this is not syringes in someone's mouth. So JR has no business complaining about kayfabe or anything else about pro wrestling ever.
Well,
that's my 2 cents. Love JR. He's the greatest, but he's wrong. He's wrong for crying about kayfabe in 2024. These are professionals trying to not hurt themselves. They're practicing, okay? The Yankees practice, the Mets practice, the Orioles practice, the Baltimore Ravens practice. Wrestlers practice. I'm out.
I hear you on that. But 2 things. First of all, thing number A is that the front of JR's checks right now, or direct deposits, if you will, if he goes that route, are signed by Tony Khan.
Yeah.
So he would be hard pressed. I mean, he could go there. You know what I'm saying? I think he can exercise leverage in that case. You know, Dave Chappelle, Mark Twain award winning, smoking a cigarette on stage level of leverage by criticizing what he saw from the show that he had to broadcast with the syringes and mouths. But assuming that he doesn't want to exercise that type of leverage, he probably couldn't speak as honestly on what he saw from the match he had to do commentary on, or from his employer, as it is from his industry and others that are protecting it. What I think is we got to understand too is, you're right, everybody practices. Right? When you go to Broadway, you know that when you see that performance on stage, you know it's got to be practiced. And you know there are actors behind the costumes, behind the sets designs that move around. When we're inside of a theater, when we're inside of a play, we suspend disbelief at least that much to understand that we are there for the performance and the actors to tell the story that they're being told that is written. We get that. Inside of professional wrestling, it is a strikingly similar enterprise that we're looking at. Right? We suspend disbelief because there's nobody that's going to climb up three ropes to jump on a pile of 6 people that will wait until he jumps before they act like they're hurt, right? We know that disbelief has to be suspended. It's the idea of seeing the same spot with the mask off, then trying to put it back on in front of our eyes. That part is jarring to the enterprise. And I think that's what he's commenting on. And whomever did this certainly wasn't WWE. That wasn't somebody WWE. The big, however, Paul, that I will agree with you on is WWE Network ran the profile leading up to WrestleMania. They ran their behind the scenes leading up to WrestleMania. How much of kayfabe was protected when you talk about that on the same network that you're presenting the product that is supposed to be, that we're supposed to suspend disbelief? You get to peel back the curtain when it suits you. But when someone else does it, it can be a problem. So I can understand the kind of contradiction, if that makes sense.
Okay, I got you. I can
What
see your
say
point.
you, Double J? Go ahead.
I don't know. I have mixed feelings on this because regardless of this image, to Paul's point, kayfabe is getting, I think it already is broken, right? You have active storylines with Dirty Dom, and
man, that ain't kayfabe, bro. That is real. What are you talking about? Dirty Dom is my hero, okay? Dirty Dom.
Remind me to hit both of you to kayfabe 3.0, which neither of you know about, but I'll tell you about shortly. But keep going.
All right.
It's just getting more and more difficult, which will actually lead into a change in direction from a top-down approach. That will be, believe it or not, our next topic. But with the current digital climate, they are reevaluating. They're kind of being forced to, I think this is a norm. This type of image becomes the norm. And it'll be very interesting to see how the fans ultimately react. Do they care? How much do they care? Are how many purists, or at least want to play that role like Jim Ross did in 2024 and beyond? Or is it, how many times can you see cats on at the local opera house?
It's interesting what you said. I think it's a case of the legacy, the legends in the business probably have a bigger product, but remember, the fan base for everything is always supposed to be the newest, the latest. You follow me? So those who are offended, are those who are looking at it from the prism of what it was when they came about, not looking at it from the idea that professional wrestling and the fan base, in some respects, don't take certain things as seriously as they take others. This image is not harmful to a fan, but Cody Rhodes and his championship run is probably more of an offense to their tastes than seeing this image, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. And Any final thoughts from either of you on this particular topic before we move on?
I'd like to know who that is.
Google.
Go ahead, Paul.
I just want somebody to Google what year the curtain call was, and then tell me what year this is, and then I want you to tell me what year it was WWE started telling everyone on the planet that their product, NXT, is their training and development center where wrestlers learn how to wrestle. Tell me those years, and then I'm out.
Oh, all right, cool. Curtain call was in 1996.
Jim Ross is dead on in 1974. He's dead on. And in 2024, I'm so sorry. He's not. He's upset about something that's correct to be upset about, but 40 years late. We're trying to do a thing. Everybody knows we're trying to do a thing. Yeah.
I think the curtain. You know what? I think the curtain call, and then the Montreal screw job. Well, no. I think the curtain call, the Outsiders arrival, and then the Montreal screw job. I think those were the three. That was the 3-piece combo that forever shattered the perspective of the suspension of disbelief, that fourth wall. I think that 3-piece combo was like name your favorite boxer, name their infamous flurry, and that's what those three things were to the protection of kayfabe in wrestling.
Valid points. And with that being said, we will take our first break of the day, full TO, and then we will be RB. Stay tuned.
I'm Jordan Gudeman, and I'm the founder and CEO of Eddie G's Cookies. I was first diagnosed with a nut allergy when I was young. At the time, there weren't a lot of labeled items that said if there may contain nuts or there are nuts in the food, so my brother and sister and I baked a lot at home, and we enjoyed treats from mixes and things like that, but I noticed that it was not the same as what my friends were enjoying, and I started making up my own recipes. When it was time to pick a career, I decided to start a bakery so I could share my treats with everybody else. When I started creating my recipe, I was taking in all the things that I thought I was missing out on. A soft, chewy center, a crisp outside crust, and a taste that is just like it came out of the oven at a bakery. When I put all those things together, I had come up with a recipe for a dream cookie. Eddie G's Cookies only uses the finest ingredients. We have all natural flavorings, no preservatives, and every cookie is made in a nut-free environment. The best part about Eddie G's Cookies is that they can be delivered right to your door. You can share them or not. We won't tell.
Yeah, just like that, we are back. Oh, the glorious joys of being live and in the moment. So, moving right along, let's see here. Here we go. Perfect. All right. Our next, tell me you did not just say that, comes from none other than Mr. Mark Shapiro from, of course, TKO. He spoke at the Goldman Sachs Technology Conference, and he had this to say. There are going to be changes to not necessarily the PLE schedule or the company's TV shows as far as their normal pace, but low margin house shows will become less common going forward. And it leads into this direct quote here. The WWE brand, while we still have to grow it, it's on fire right now. We don't need to carry these marginally profitable events. What was 300 last year will be roughly 250 this year, and next year will be close to 200. So, we on this program have talked about the potential logjam of talent. And, well, we broke down Cody Rhodes' own title defense. And what, Gully? It was about 80% of his title defenses were at house shows?
Correct. Live events. Yep.
And now you're going to reduce that within 24 months by 50%. For those that may forget, the significance to a house show was to be able to enter the quote unquote mid markets, not necessarily your major markets. And that was the way to grow the brand in the eyes of Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
Yep.
And again, I laid out the logjam concept of talent, but yet the brand's on fire, folks. So Gully and Paul, I'm going to ask you. You see the direction in the way that this is going. Do you agree with him? If so, why or why not?
Two things can be true. Well, no. I'm not even going to say it that way. No. He's looking at the fact that it's on fire has a reason to cool it off. He's looking at, in my opinion, he's looking at the fact that the WWE can do well because the TV and the live events, the premium live events and premium shows are enough to carry the brand. But what he's not looking at, and this is how you know this is a numbers cruncher. This is a AOL Time Warner executive not listening to Eric Bischoff and Kevin Nash, and Kevin Sullivan, rest his soul, about how you get quality. How do you get a quality program? You have to have your talent in front of a live audience. Even though as a kid, I didn't understand. I didn't think that going to I didn't think that, oh, I'm going to see wrestling. I didn't think it was a big deal. Well, I did think it was a big deal if it wasn't Raw or SmackDown or pay-per-view. I'm like, oh, why do I want to go to see the WWE on Tuesday? The reason why you want to go see on Tuesday when they're not in front of the cameras is because Jade Cargill probably needs some rep in front of a live audience before she goes to Raw to defend her title. You don't know that yet as a kid or as a non-fan when you're not connected to the product. But now that you are, it makes a lot more sense to have live events, to have enough live events, so that way your talent, who's there again inside of the arena, we're talking about suspension of disbelief, right? To be able to handle the lights, so that way when the lights get bigger, they know how to perform. That's what he's missing.
Did we lose Paul?
I think we might have lost him.
Okay. I did want to add this point. Yes, there's independents still out there. There's those regional shows, and we've highlighted some of those. And if you have one, please comment on any of our past or current shows, and we will certainly make sure we give you your proper credit as well. There's now an influx of competitors.
Yeah.
the brand may be on fire, but the brand is certainly this is a very interesting fork in the road for me. Gully, we just talked about a live event that you attended.
Yep.
That essentially was deemed myth.
Yep.
I myself attended one that thankfully I have pictures of.
Right.
But I would have to go through that card again and find it similarly. We've heard since like the 80s of shows that, matter of fact, WCW specifically, someone won a title, and then like on Saturday and on Monday, it was still the other guy. Like
yes.
Hogan was still champ.
Wait a minute. It was Hogan that actually did it. Was it Vader? Was it Vader that he?
I'm almost positive that's what it was.
Vader won the championship.
No. It was Tony Atlas, I think, at one point did it too.
What? Won a title at a house show.
And on Monday, it was still the other guy. So you're that the glory of house shows, like that's what I mean. Could you imagine? I mean, it wouldn't be the quite the Mick Foley is about to win necessarily.
Right.
But if we were to see like Shinsuke Nakamura just knocked off Cody Rhodes for that belt.
Yep. On
a Saturday in Southampton, UK.
Right.
Like what?
And then on Monday night, you're like, wait a minute. On Monday night, the American Nightmare come out with the belt. Like, wait a minute. What in the bloody hell? Right.
Right. You're gonna get hit with more than a rubber chicken.
Yeah.
Anyway, so nevertheless, I think it's a bold strategy. I understand that yes, you can have content consumed 24/7. We know that. Thankfully.
Right.
Thanks for all the subscribers and the growth. But you could sell merch 24/7 now. Those merch stands used to pop off in that, local Altoona, Pennsylvania show where, again, speaking of WCW, right. Altoona, it was WCW. I'm almost positive. In Altoona, Pennsylvania, at like a church, they get in a brawl with the crowd.
Oh yeah.
Could you again? This is stuff, folks. That is like, I mean, as maybe that's not the best example in the world, but could you imagine if present day, modern day, we're into right now, Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, and others amongst superstars involved in brawl in Middle America across your local headline? People would lose their minds. Who has the footage? This is a real thing. Like, yes, this really happened. I think it was like Kevin Nash and some of the others from back in the day. And like, forget all the other stuff. I told you at the time, it was I got to see Bray Wyatt, got to see Sheamus, CM Punk prior to that following Monday's final show in Rosemont, Illinois, that he would be a part of at the time, of course, before his more recent return.
Mm-hmm.
That all goes away. Again, we looked at Roman Reigns past 3 years.
Yeah.
And how active he was.
Yeah.
So what this does to me is, if you are established, this feels like the closest thing to signing on the dotted line with Ted Turner and Eric Bischoff being paid to do nothing.
Oh, I got you. Yeah.
Because you now for sure are going to work less.
Yes.
But if you're a name, that's wonderful. You could do that. If you have a brand, you can do that.
Right.
But for the Joe Hendrys and countless others, that is not going to be your reality.
Right. That's not going to be good news.
If you can't get a pop, and that's going to be the challenge here too. Like, hey, look, I don't have enough time to be the best face I can be or be the best heel I can be, because by doing so, I'm not selling t-shirts. And so therefore you don't want me anymore. And now, I'm out the door. We've seen roster moves in the past month.
Yeah. For
people that, again, were given otherwise, like we were never told what happened. Like, honestly, the imposter Big E is, I'm still wondering.
Yeah. He's gone, right? Isn't he gone?
Oh, yeah. We got the TNA guy coming over.
Yep.
We've had all kinds of movement in it. And yes, it's meant to be confusing. That cross promotion is probably the closest thing you could do.
Right.
But how would you expect to break through today, or at least under that premise, Gully, if they remove 100 less shows?
Yeah.
That is 100. Really, we'll say we'll lowball this thing and say at a house show, there's 4 or 5 matches. So 500 matches gone off the card.
Wow. You know what? I didn't think of it that way, right? 500 less matches. Wow. That's a significant change to your product. 500 less matches. But still do the same thing that you can. Well, what you said, right? Your top tier talent, your main event guys are, their contracts are probably written differently. So they can use the rest. They would welcome the rest. But
that's more weekends at home, right?
Yeah.
Like a truck driver or something.
Yeah, but then what do you do to your overall brand, man? I'm telling you, it seems like a
how has the UFC struggled with this yet?
I don't know. They put no more events, bro. That's the problem with UFC.
I want to jump in if I can.
Yeah, tag in, hot tag. Go ahead, slap the back, and then get in. Right.
I'm a semi-expert on UFC stuff, and no, they'll never suffer from this, because what they're doing is they're putting on the circus, and fighters are always ready to fight. And if you can't fight, the next fighter will fight. They're never going to have a problem. They're always going to have shows. The only time they ever failed to put on a show they should not have, they did for various reasons, and there's probably going to be a 30 for 30 on it in the 21 years or so.
Yeah.
Shout out to John Jones. Shout out to Dan Henderson. Shout out to Chael. Shout out to Machida.
Yeah.
But no, they're never going to suffer from that. There's always fighters who are ready to fight, and if you ask them and they say yeah, you just pay them extra. And they're like, yeah, I know you're going to pay me extra, but I'm always ready.
Right.
Thank you for that extra money.
But Paul, what I'm asking is, would this be able to work? Would that model of the next person up work in a WWE atmosphere? Can you throw, Jimmy Uso or Solo, who did fantastic on Friday? I will give credit where credit is due. In there and just expect the same pop?
No, the pop is presumptuous. And the pop is not what WWE is in business for. What they're in business for is selling tickets, putting butts in seats, selling T-shirts, selling WWE.com subscriptions so you can watch everything that WWE's got online for just $9.99. Shout out to What's Best for Business. What year is this? Oh, that's 8 years later.
Yeah.
Shout out to What's Best for Business 8 years later. Guess what happens when you plant a seed, guys? No, they're fine. They're always going to be fine. If a wrestler has an injury, there's always a thing to do. What you do is you make money from it. You take somebody and you make a villain out of them. If somebody's not a good enough babyface, if they're not good enough in the ring, if they're not good enough on the mic, if they're not good enough with the fans, there's always a Band-Aid. But the things they care about is at the registers, which we don't have much grift for these days, but the money. Where's the money coming in? It's coming in online and to a lesser extent, live events.
Agree or disagree, Gully?
No, I think I see his point. There's going to be somebody starved. There's some that atrophy of talent. There's going to be somebody that's like, hey, I'll step up. I'll fill in. I'll work with less. Because the business, where we're looking at it as fans, they're looking at it from a business perspective. And those two ideas don't conflict with one another. Right?
So let me ask you both about factions then. Okay, we just said 500 less shows. I'm not going to pretend like, okay, that's where Carlito's getting paraded around and making his mark.
Yeah, as he shows up on the screen with the Judgment Day right now at Raw.
Correct. But what do you do with those quote unquote extras, right? We're not far removed from, okay, your match has been scrapped, ladies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, Nikki Bella. Too soon. Back on the market, though. John Cena.
Too soon. Wrong tone.
Too soon.
Going on mute again.
Too soon. Wrong tone. Going on mute. Right.
So I do have concerns in that respect because they seem very confident, right? The brand is on fire.
Yeah, see the boardroom's looking at the models, and they see something different than how to build the brand. This is where you get even Ted Turner, who was a fan of the wrestling business, who put someone like Eric Bischoff, who had a very real understanding of the wrestling business, akin to a Vincent Kennedy McMahon, who was in the sports entertainment business. You get different philosophies at play. It's going to have I anticipate it having a real effect, an effect that they think revenue-wise they can survive, but I don't think it's effect that TKO executive-wise, I don't think it's one that they estimate properly. They're underestimating it.
So there's shows out there, for example, like Soft White Underbelly, that really go and dive deep into Middle America, into Appalachia.
Shout out to Mark Latis.
Yes.
And when you look at the independent promotions of the past and why Vince had this model that was so wildly successful, is there any concern outside, because right now, from the sounds of things, what they're doing is they're able to say, okay, Mania is up for bid. It is for 2026. Who wants it? In my best 90s Tom Cruise, putting my ear to the phone. Gully, can you do a Cuba Gooding Jr. for me?
Show me the money.
This works in the NFL.
Help me help both of you, if I may.
All right.
Hi, my name is Paul. I'm the wet blanket. This stuff is now so corporatized that we're talking about. It's very pro wrestling to think that the pro wrestling company has a great deal of control about what's going to happen. But at this point, this company is so big, it by percentage, it barely does pro wrestling. Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, D. Cornette down here absolutely understands that point.
There you go. And I'm just saying, like, they're trying to do the Super Bowl stadium site location excitement the same way WrestleMania site location excitement could be perceived. The same thing pro wrestling has been, wait for it, forever, trying to be in the same way perceived in the last 30 years, because at this moment, pro football in the United States is the biggest thing that they could get the rub from. In the 60s, it was baseball, and that's why wrestling was different, and now pro wrestling is different. But that's all of those things. It's corporatized, it's planned out years and years in advance, and then later we get to hear about the behind the scenes. Let's have a lot of excitement for it, no matter where it is.
And we'll get there. So it's not gonna go. Basically, we ain't going nowhere.
So that sounds to me like more belts, more PLEs, more money, more problems. And with that being said, we will be returning right after these messages.
It's Kate Cunningham, and you watching the Shop Report. I'm Harvey Diallo, and you watching the Shop Report.
My name's Chris Murray, and you're watching the Shop Report.
Oh, you're Jay Knight, you're watching the Shop Report.
It's Braxton Key, you're dropping in on the Shop Report.
Barbershop Jay, Quentin Hines, Super Bowl champion. I'm ready. Let's do it. I'm on.
Hi, I'm Morris Edwards from Mercury Stadium, and you're watching the Shock Report.
Hey, I'm Billy Butler, and thank you for watching the Shop Report. Hey guys, I'm Les Norman, former Kansas City Royal, and you're watching the Shop Report.
Commander Brown, Detroit Rivers Mountain Training, and I'm watching the Shop Report.
Hey, this is Doug Flynn of the New York Mets. Well, a few other teams, of course, too. And you're watching the Shop Report.
I'm Matt Ramos, and you're watching the Shop Report.
How you doing? I'm Rajay Davis, and you're watching the Shop Report.
How you doing? This is Nelson Figueroa, former Major League pitcher with a lot of teams. You're about to listen to the Shop Report.
Hey, this is Howard Johnson. You're watching the Shop Report.
And welcome back. And before we get into the return of CM Punk,
yeah, before we do that, I just got to ask you a question.
Go for it.
Has your wife ever gently and lovingly gave you a kiss on the shoulder blade? The shoulder. Have you ever gotten like an affectionate kiss?
It's gonna make an interesting reel.
Have you ever gotten an affectionate kiss somewhere anywhere other than your face? And again, I'm not trying to be explicit. Like no, stay with me. Stay above board though. Stay above board.
Okay, all right. All right.
So stay above board. But have you ever gotten an affectionate kiss from someplace other than your face, other than your mouth or your cheek? You ever got an affectionate kiss like? Or let's say other than your mouth, other than the lips, an affectionate kiss, like the cheek, or maybe like side of the neck.
But this feels like we're going breakup. Like,
you ever got a kiss on your shoulder blade? Shoulder. You ever got one of those?
I believe so.
Let me explain something to you. Daddy Dom, right? Now I'm about to break the heck out this fourth wall. Because I'm gonna tell you, I don't care what kind of script or whatever it is. It's certain things don't need to happen if they don't need to have happen. Listen, Liv Morgan was all up and around my man Dom, right? She gave the rear hug. You ever got the rear hug from the wifey?
I have.
Okay, so the rear hug with the kiss on the shoulder blade. Like, listen, look, we know what the role is, right? We know that inside the arena, Daddy Dom is in the love triangle, right? But we know outside the arena, Dominic Mysterio is another man. All I'm suggesting is he might get leftovers if he come home for a cooked meal. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? She might cook for everybody else, but then his joint might not be in the microwave. All I'm saying is my man is he winning and he playing a dangerous game because ain't no need to have. Do you understand what I'm kind? Do you kind of get the sense?
So you saw the intro, right?
Oh yeah. I know.
I thought he kind of sold it short, actually, right at that last moment when he
did. If he did, she didn't. Okay, I ain't worried about him.
Did she lay? Was there lips or was it just shoulder?
She kissed him on the shoulder.
Contact there, and I'm like, did I turn my head or?
Nah, bro. Like I'm saying, when they were waiting for what is it they called, the Wonder Twins,
Terror Twins. Which there was a sign there, and I'm sorry, I've never felt like something was more pre-manufactured. Like it looked too clean.
Yeah.
Like, here, ma'am, we'll guarantee you TV time. Hold this Terror Twin sign.
Right.
Because, come on, bro. Like,
see,
I can't with the name.
Yeah, the name is terrible. The name is terrible. Okay. But I'm saying, like, she held him. You know, the rear hug, man. The rear hug is but man, listen, I don't care how big you are. You know, you big. When you get the rear hug from the wife, like, that's just, and you got the rear hug and the kisses on the shoulder blades. All right. So if you're out here and you ever get a kiss from your wife on the shoulder blade or the shoulder right here, anywhere around this area, you know that this. I'm saying my man is winning. He winning for real.
You remember that commercial that was a PSA, not the brain on drugs necessarily, where there's the scrambled eggs, but that's Jimmy in and he's melted on the couch. You get those things that you're referring to right now?
Yeah.
And you're Jimmy.
Yeah, right.
If not now, within at least 5 good minutes, or at least or whatever make believe dog time frame you're using. So
I get you. I didn't want to delay. I know we got my man CM Punk up there, but I'm just saying. I just had just an observation. Just an observation. Ooh, AEW to Fox. Oh.
You thought we were done? We're not getting into Raw yet. We're about to.
No. This, okay. What you're showing me now is in relation to something that I seen that seemed to come out of nowhere earlier. So on my socials, I've seen articles like, "Hey, are the McMahons trying to move in on AEW's TV deal?" I'm like, I don't know if they want TNT. But this.
So that's cute. You're getting rid of a 300-year model.
300-year.
Yeah. It's cinematic effect, Gully. Stay with me.
All right, I got you.
If I'm in this boardroom,
with
I don't know, he's doing his best like Harry Potter. But Tony Khan, love him or hate him, whether you believe the numbers or you believe the empty arenas, first of all, the arena thing, and we've seen this with Dynamite and Collision occasionally going into smaller markets.
Yep.
You're telling me you can willingly vacate areas that have been marginally successful? You're going to give those to us. Okay. Am I best Al Pacino from Ocean's 13?
Okay.
You're going to give them the soft white underbelly, aka the core, that made wrestling successful. Oh, and by the way, as we've disclosed on many occasions, between the two entities, one is a little bit better than the other at being less days of our lives and more in the ring.
Right.
This is where it's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see how this works out for them, because look, I've said this on the Shop Report on Saturdays. I said it a while ago. There was another CEO that said once, if you let investors and accountants run your company, it will die.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? But he was right. He was right. Go look at it, most of your retail chains right now. And then go look who's pulling the strings. Oh, imagine that. TKO is just tiptoeing. They're walking a very tightrope. That you're right. It is margin rich. In the short term.
Right.
Something I've pointed out with the NFL product is that loyalty one way is stupidity as it pertains to a fanatic.
Yeah. Right.
One thing the UFC's done great at, and it wasn't always the case.
Okay.
Wow, what Rhea's doing right now, bro.
Stay on topic now.
Flossing. Did you see that? You might want to rewind real quick.
Nah, it looks goofy. It's about the goofiest thing. That looks goofy.
Did you get the flossing reference?
It's goofy. It looked goofy, bro. It looked goofy.
Nevertheless, so to get back on track here, Shop Report After Dark. There's a saying that I use daily, which is part of this is a short-term strategy mixed with some long-term strategy. So you provides ultimately balance and consistency.
Yeah.
they are really banking on their proven UFC model that they forget. Had it not been for Forrest that went into a bloodbath from Ultimate Fighter,
right?
That they were on the brink of bankruptcy.
Yeah.
If that match does not occur, the UFC as you know it ceases to exist, at least in its modern format.
Got you.
And the UFC is a different product.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there is no kayfabe in UFC, that level of just being authentic is always going to potentially keep people interested.
Right.
And then, of course, mixed with authentic and new personalities that emerge, it's not quite as simple in this space. And if you can swing the balance and the allegiance,
yep,
because what was happening in the past, so some people that remember when DX went to, when the invasion occurred.
Yeah.
The guy was asked, well, why did you go to WWE? Why didn't you go to WCW? He goes, well, of course, I was in Virginia. So, WCW was here all the time.
Right.
WWE was not.
Right.
Well, you're now going to once again give up those territories. They were already WCW fans. They were loyalists. This is how the rest of the nation was ultimately able and capable to jump on board. And we know what ultimately led to their demise was a combination of what we're seeing right now.
Yeah.
So as it pertains to Tony Khan,
yeah,
who is savvy.
Right.
This announcement, their AEW and Fox are reportedly set to ink a new deal.
Yep.
With a possible new show called Shockwave.
Right.
If I'm Tony Khan and I have a new show on Fox and FS1.
Yeah.
And I have Shane O'Mac running that show.
Right. It's just an hour. Yeah.
What do you say about not only just that possibility, because that seems all too real now, but this direction that they're going?
Well, it's competition, right? What's all in the name of competition? You have TKO. You have TKO scaling back. And you have AEW scaling up. So it looks like they're gonna be around for a while. They're positioning themselves, AEW, to be around for a while, and also positioning themselves to have a contrast in different wrestling. Whoa. Did you see that?
I sure did.
Breaking news. Wow. 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 That was amazing. That was amazing. Fans, if you were tuning in to WWE Raw, oh, that was hilarious. By the way, real quick, I just wanted to say, Paul, he got an early day in the morning tomorrow, so he had to sign off for us. So he enjoyed us. We enjoyed having him as always, and we enjoyed his insight and his perspective. And I just wanted to just say, hey, thanks for sticking around for us for a little while on the turnbuckle to give us some of that Paul, that Paul, for some of the, what Paul does best. You get what I'm saying? So just want to say thanks. And and he'll be back with us probably another time for sure.
Absolutely.
But this here is kind of amazing. This is what a Judgment Day look. This is what a heel faction is supposed to look like. Heel factions are supposed to lack integrity. You can't bring integrity to the Judgment Day. You have to get kicked out. And I don't know what you're terrorizing, Terror Twins, when you look terrible doing it. But that was fantastic.
Completely agree. And so it'll be an interesting strategy because, again, you ultimately see these organizations are playing chess and checkers.
Right.
And so we'll definitely keep an eye on it, and we'll see what the 5 and 10 year outlook appears to do. Right? We already know where the valuation is with AEW, and then we'll currently, we'll keep an eye on it, see how that changes, and ultimately who else gets involved. So with that being said, we will take our semifinal break as far as between topics. We'll jump into Raw here, get Gully's thoughts quickly, and then, of course, wrap up with Name That Superstar, who that's already thankfully ready to go, unless you nail this thing in 5 seconds again. But I already have a second one for that, too.
All right, for sure. All right.
Absolutely.
So, hey, I'm ready. I'm 3-1, right? I'm 3-1, right?
Well, it's like 3.5 kind of thing.
Yeah. All right. Let's see.
What it do, sports fans? It's your man BSJ from the Shop Report. And guess what? The shop is now open for business, baby. If you're on Facebook, go to our fan page, The Shop Report, click on More, and then Shop to view all products. Or if you're on Instagram, click on the Shop tab to see all our products. I mean, what you want me to do? I'm selling merch here.
All right, just like that, we are back, and so is CM Punk. He kicked off tonight's Raw with addressing Drew McIntyre ahead of their Hell in a Cell match at Bad Blood. He said Drew's fatal mistake was not getting the job done 2 weeks ago when he attacked him. Punk says his little sister and his wife asked him not to do the Hell in a Cell match. But Punk explains why he has to do it. He promises he will make Drew bleed and make it so Drew will have to kill him to win, as he is prepared to die.
Wow.
D. Gully, what do you make of CM Punk? Willing to lay it all on the line.
Strong words. Strong words from one Mr. CM Punk. Was the promo? I didn't get a chance to hear it, but I think it's a CM Punk promo, as only CM Punk could. So I believe there's some bit of it makes you listen, right? Really brings in terms of a promo. But more importantly, I think this match. I hate gimmick matches. I like those two guys in the cell. I think they're going to deliver a great match.
So it's interesting you use that verbiage. So there's 2 quick points I want to make it or point out, and then get your thoughts on it.
Okay.
So the first is an opinion piece on me, which is if you're going to have cage matches, no pinfall, dude. Get out of it.
Yeah. What is the purpose?
I don't know. I don't care. Hit the finisher, make the dude tap, whatever, but walk out, climb out, do what you're going to do. I'm just so that's just an opinion on my end. And then second, what should have been or could have been at the very least part of our Tell Me You Did Not Just Say That segment, which is it was actually Drew McIntyre pointing out that he was not happy about Punk's return in real life, and that despite that, they're both professionals.
Right.
And they're able to put the personal stuff aside and actually kind of channel it, which is, as I've pointed out, some of the best rivalries had some serious authenticity to them with, and it led to, in-ring magic.
Can you, if you remember, can you restate what was the genuine heat that McIntyre had about Punk?
Basically that how he had quit, that he should have stayed retired essentially, and that he skipped the line.
Oh, him coming back, he skipped the line?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I understand that.
So, but
when you got to remember, if you're CM Punk, what can you do for the business and what can you do for the industry based off of your reputation and history? CM Punk can do things that Drew McIntyre can't. And so in the business, because it's a great deal of it is a popularity contest, CM Punk is afforded that luxury because there was a time when CM Punk was probably in a Drew McIntyre position and he couldn't do the things that he saw done, right? You got to remember, CM Punk once upon a time was the guy that had to drop the title to The Rock for The Rock to carry it to WrestleMania versus Cena. Right. He had to drop, or you get what I'm saying? So there was a time where CM Punk wasn't who he was to establish himself. He had to do the things that maybe Drew McIntyre feels like he should have to do again because of the way he left. And I think he's missing the idea that I don't think that Drew McIntyre can go to AEW and turn that promotion on its head and be the same draw that CM Punk was. It's almost like the Goldberg effect, the Bill Goldberg effect. Right? There was a reason why they put the title on him for him to carry that. Either he wanted that crown jewel or he carried in a crown jewel where he beat Bray Wyatt or he beat the Fiend. Same actual person, but he remember he won the strap from him. But like Bill Goldberg could do that because Bill Goldberg is that type of draw. CM Punk is that type of draw. He can insert himself into a situation because of his reputation and the precedent that he sets and his ability to deliver. He can do that. So I can understand why you're mad. The idea of it is, hey, I know you got a problem with me, but guess what? I'm going to do that for you and see what it does for you. Like, let's say McIntyre comes out on the upside of this feud in terms of he actually wins. You know, he wins the match that stops the program that these guys are running together. What does that do for Drew McIntyre? It doesn't hurt Punk at all. But what does it do for McIntyre? It will elevate him. So
just to add some additional context to it, Drew, of course, referenced that in Punk's original run, he was like ages 22 to 26, and Punk did things that actively hurt his career.
Oh, he's saying Punk did things that actively stalled McIntyre's career?
Mm-hmm.
Like politicking pretty much?
Yes, and they were pretty much telling Drew that whether it's the bloodline, so the Samoans, or to basically forgive and forget.
Huh.
And he's like, no, F that, that type of thing. And so it definitely adds a little bit of flavor to this that may have otherwise, he said he stated it before. So for those out there, by all means, please, let us know in the comments if you see it.
Yeah.
But I would have to go back. I've told you that when Wade Barrett went off at the conclusion of Clash at the Castle.
Yeah.
Dude, that felt as authentic as it gets. But this is the same person who ruined pretty much his career with Nexus.
CM Punk?
Yes.
Okay.
That original run ticked a lot of people off, dude. And then, of course, he
wait a minute. So what did Punk have to do with that? I mean, when I say that,
who was it? Whose guy was Punk? Do you remember that?
He was a Paul Heyman guy.
But there was someone else backstage behind the curtain.
Wasn't Laurinaitis, was it?
No.
Right.
Gosh, that's going to bother me. There was someone back there that was Punk's absolutely pushing him forward.
Okay, so Punk had an ally in the locker room, and this ally helped.
I'm saying in the creative space.
Yeah, in the creative space, right?
Man, it's gonna bother me because this is what happens when you get 9 hours sleep in 48. And so, nevertheless, yeah, it derailed young Drew McIntyre. It absolutely it pretty much threw Wade Barrett to rival the Macho Man with going from relevancy to irrelevant.
Gotcha.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. So, you know what else I'm not surprised about?
What's that? Does not want to be called Butch.
Pete Dunne, as Gully pointed out, does not want to be referred to as Butch.
But
he beat Sheamus. He got over on Sheamus tonight by way of a cricket bat.
All right.
So he just, as Felipe in the comments, Felipe with kind of that peacock hair, I guess. I don't know. I'm pretty sure he sat in front of my seats that I wasn't attending. A friend had sent a picture of at the Pistons game. I'm like, is that Felipe in front of you? But nevertheless, he says that dude has no aura at all. This is my problem here, right? When we're talking about what we're talking about with less 100 shows, 200 shows,
right?
What do you do with Butch? There's no way you're gonna. Who should we? Who's gonna get over here? Oh, Butch. We're gonna rebrand Butch.
Right,
dude. I saw Bray Wyatt at a house show.
Okay.
Chair and all. Lantern.
Yep.
Very, very who was that? I'm not the one. You're kind of that cadence there.
Yeah.
That MTV, I remember, plugged kind of like their little ghost show in
the
early 2000s there. I feel like the song was called Voodoo or something. Anyway, You don't have time for that. You can't. Jim Johnston can't come save you.
Jim Johnston can't come save you. Wow. Yeah.
That is the issue that I have with this model, that it is not as simple as to rinse and repeat. And what we are seeing right now, I think, is a lack of true creative direction. I think there is it probably behind the curtain is actually probably more attractive than what we're witnessing right now, even though that's not terrible what's out here.
Right.
But we've seen so many things recycled that they have to be having a fatal four-way behind the curtain.
Right. It's a lot going on, right? And the ideas can't keep great creative ideas seem not to be able to keep pace with the volume of talent and shows. So maybe this might help scaling back.
I gave you the example of Thunder and of course Nitro.
Yeah.
And a budget that was not even capable of sustaining Nitro.
Right.
That was meant to be split across both. My fear is that in the name of profits, we are going to witness something along those lines. And this is the difference of being owned, independently.
Right. And being managed.
That's right. So do not be surprised if this becomes your new norm, folks, with watching for the nth time Butch and the Pale Horse.
Butch and the Pale Horse. Oh, that's terrible. That's terrible.
Well, speaking of recycling, are we going? Is it Dark Gable again in the Wyatt Six?
I don't know what's going on. I don't know what to make of that.
You know what we didn't get for recycling?
What's that?
Well, there's going to be a lot in the recycling bin. I can tell you that from this fantastic match. I mean, again, this is where whatever was happening back there, they were a part of it. Because we finally got what we were looking for, which of course was Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed.
Yeah.
Dude, do you remember when I said, yeah, right. Do you remember when I said this would be a great time for the ring to collapse?
Yeah.
I mean, what was that? Not even 2 weeks ago?
Right.
We had a rope break. That was that was pretty close.
Okay.
That kind of seemed like it was legit. Like they were just that big.
Really? Oh, they played it up.
And then we got Raw versus SmackDown.
Oh, yeah.
They threw that. Samantha Irvin's life was in danger. Ricochet. They were backstage. There were randos getting thrown around. There were NPCs getting thrown around back there.
Right. They left carnage in their wake.
If they go around one more corner, Gully, I would have been, unfortunately, not able to be a part of this broadcast.
You'd have been a casualty. You'd have been on the ground, getting medical attention, right?
That's right. Absolutely. They explored. They just, hey, you know what? Some 2K developer right now.
Yeah.
It's like just had this show on off in the background, coding away. It was like,
oh, I got it.
Like, oh no. Send that text, honey. I got to work longer now.
Yeah.
Because now there's downloadable content.
Now I got
$5.99. What did Paul say? $9.99.
$9.99. Right. Just $9.99.
this again, the brawl that ends by Braun putting Bronson through a wall.
Wow. So, yeah, showcasing this power. And his his raw strength, his power, and his wrecking, and the fact that he's a wrecking ball. All right, I got you.
And take notes, AEW, it was not a single piece of drywall.
Yep. Or a syringe in the mouth. Right. Right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
go ahead.
Let's just call it right. So it was a way to do it up without anarchy. Without potentially jeopardizing your Fox deal.
Well, with that being said, do you think the Netflix era can't come soon enough?
No. Yeah. What? Okay. So what do the line limits pushed by WWE? What does it look like for them to push the envelope or them to push the line versus what it looks like for AEW? Right. We firmly expect that WWE will do that, knowing or having a better sense of how to move that needle without taking risks, without jeopardizing the same things that AEW jeopardizes in the way that they take risks. So we trust WWE to make better creative choices or decisions, but we all know how that looked around, right? We look at Cody Rhodes' title run, and we look at Daniel Bryan's stalled push before he became that guy in WWE. And the list goes on and on. But it's safer. Might be a little bit safer. We'll see. But what else happened on Raw?
Well, we are one day closer to a heel turn.
Oh, how so? Who? Tell me.
Xavier Woods.
Oh, he's going back heel?
That's right.
See, does anyone remember that he was a heel to begin with?
Right. But see, okay. I thought it was really on when they had that guy for a cup of coffee.
They had that guy. Yeah, that guy that was there. All right, what happened?
I don't know. He just was off the roster. Wasn't even put in the alumni section.
No, I'm talking about what happened here with
Oh, I see. So, basically the disagreement was that the LWO came to the aid of these two per the request of Kofi. Oh. In case during the title match, the rest of the Judgment Day came to interfere, and that's exactly what occurred.
Right.
But that was unbeknownst to Xavier.
Oh.
And then it became when we had E.
Yeah.
And now we're back to where we were, I feel like, when we had insert imposter Big E. So, will we get there? I mean, with Bad Blood around the corner, it kind of makes sense. Like, just go ahead and
make the turn. Make it a Bad Blood
and add it. But that's what I'm saying. Like, no time better than the present.
Now, see, you make the turn, you run that program. That's a great WrestleMania match. That is a great card opener or mid-card match.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's fantastic. Actually, And speaking of things that were fantastic, what do we have here? The Judgment Day's beatdown of the Terror Twins, who are terribly on the wrong side of this.
Yeah.
Her boyfriend Yeet tried to intervene, and I think you had caught that, right?
Yeah.
What do you make of this?
This sets up for Damian Priest to beat the you-know-what out of Dominic, and before that sets up for a great match between he and Finn Balor at Bad Blood.
Yeah, it was announced earlier in the evening by Finn that when Dom was fighting it, the Urge, if you will.
Yeah.
It was him that had planted the seed of being the devil on his shoulder, as he called it.
Right.
To give in to temptation and to leave Rhea behind.
Right. And he did that.
He sure did. And now he's getting what is it? What did you say?
Kisses on the shoulder.
That's right.
Kisses on the shoulder blade. I'm telling you, bro. That's a country hit. I'm gonna write it. Kisses on the shoulder blade. Shoulder blade kisses. I know there's butterfly kisses, but kisses on the shoulder blade. I'm telling you, I'm gonna write it. It's gonna be a hit.
There we go. You heard it here. So, Kane Brown, if you're out there, get in touch with D Gully, and certainly we'll be able to cook something up, I'm sure. Speaking of cooking up, next week on Raw, it's been announced.
Woo! So this is it for the Intercontinental Championship.
You betcha. All right, Gully, per our typical rapid fire, before we get out of here.
Yep.
Who you got and why?
All right. Intercontinental Championship, Raw. There's a program between. I think Braun Breaker and Jey Uso are going to last a while. So I'm gonna just go for it. Braun Breaker retains.
Boy, you really went out on a limb, huh?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did.
All right. And so, with that being said, oh yeah, you know what? Wait a minute. Just because I will salute them really quickly.
Okay.
American Made did declare that they are done with the Wyatt Six.
Oh.
However, the Wyatt Six did not declare that they are done with American Made. So we will, I'm sure, see that on a program
series.
So before we move on, I just wanted to see if you feel any differently about this. This was from much earlier in the show. But let's see, where are they? There it is. Natalia, Natty
Light.
Natty Light beat Zoe Stark.
Really?
So the fruit juice is passion fruit juice is getting over. Are they getting over on you? Are they running wild on you yet?
A shop report after dark. More on that later. This is okay. They need the help. I don't know what to make of that yet. Jury's still out.
Don't worry, I'm not going to do that to you. Well, again, yes, the jury is still out. However, there is no need for a recess from me. I am not in on this.
You're out.
Well, after hours, never mind. But nevertheless, all right, we're taking our final break, and guess what? Your favorite segment of any show, which is Name that superstar.
All right, cool. Come on back. I'll get this superstar and then I can send you guys back to bed.
Let's do it.
Jay Cunningham, you watching the Shop Report. I'm Homie Diallo, and you watching the Shop Report.
My name's Chris Murray, and you're watching the Shop Report.
Oh, you're Jay Knight, you watching the Shop Report.
Max McKee, you're dropping in on the Shop Report.
Barbershop Jay, Quentin Hines, Super Bowl champion. I'm ready. Let's do it. I'm on.
Hi, I'm Mars Edwards from Mercury Stadium, and you're watching the Shock Report.
Hey, I'm Billy Butler, and thank you for watching the Shop Report. Hey guys, I'm Les Norman, former Kansas City Royal, and you're watching the Shop Report.
Commander Brown, Detroit Rivers Mountain Training, and I'm watching the Shop Report.
Hey, this is Doug Flynn of the New York Mets. Well, a few other teams, of course, too. And you're watching the Shop Report.
I'm Matt Ramos, and you're watching the Shop Report.
How you doing? I'm Rajay Davis, and you're watching the Shop Report.
How you doing? This is Nelson Figueroa, former Major League pitcher with a lot of teams. You're about to listen to the Shop Report.
Hey, this is Howard Johnson. You're watching the Shop Report.
Oh, you betcha. We are back. Right. D Gully.
Here we go.
Are you ready for this?
I'm ready for it. Let's go. I'm ready for it. I'm feeling
all
good.
Right.
I'm feeling good about
Ladies and gentlemen, no, that is not who we're looking for.
Natalia.
I'm keeping you on it.
No.
Unbelievable. Fastest record time.
All right,
no,
go.
Not quite. Not quite. Right. Here we go. And the clock starts now. Name that superstar.
Scotty
from the God darn it. This can't be happening.
Yo,
dude, I thought like I had something in the URL or something visible that I was like, there, you know, the one time I was like, that I got to be giving something away here. So I'm like, I'm gonna download the image.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. I'm gonna tell you what it did for me. It was something about the crown of his head. That's what it did. It was the crown of his head and the eyebrows.
All right, given that record time, thankfully I come prepared these days.
Oh, okay. So you gonna hit me.
Here is your second superstar. Name that superstar.
Marcus Alexander Buff Bagwell. Come on, man. Come on, man. Just Jeff Bagwell's baby brother. Looking very healthy. By the way,
he's been battling.
Yes. I remember him. I remember watching him in WCW when he was coming up, when he was kind of like newer on the scene, and he had a lot of promise. I'm like, oh yeah, this dude's gonna be that guy. And then became Buff Bagwell, and then that's it. So, bro, come on. I know these guys. This is my childhood. I'm glad that I'm successful at this. I'm glad that I'm good at this so far. Now you start sending me guys from like other eras, from the Attitude Era. No, not the Attitude. I'm sorry, the New Generation era and the Golden Era might be a challenge, but I'm up for it. But yeah, that's my guy, Marcus Alexander Buff Bagwell, and there's Scotty Too Hottie.
Well, okay, so the original pick I told you was last week's segment was going to be La Parka.
Yeah.
Which was, again, I believe he had passed away. Or no, I couldn't find him without a mask.
Yeah.
No, he did. Yeah, he passed away in 2020. So I don't know. I felt weird about that. And then, of course, the guy I really wanted to pick today was Crash Holly.
But you wouldn't have been able to pick him because
I can't get a Today picture, unfortunately.
Well, because he ain't here no more.
That's right.
Man, we gotta go, man.
That's right. It's been fun, clearly, but we gotta run. Check us out as always on Facebook, X, YouTube, Twitch, whether it's at the Shop Report, at What You Mean Gully, at Joey
on
Kane,
YouTube. Yeah.
You name it, you will absolutely find us. We, of course, will return this weekend where hopefully I've gotten more than the minimum to just not hallucinate
Right.
in terms of sleep. And otherwise, I too will be a hashtag like some of those other choices. And of course, if you really want to know what's going on,
come to the shop. Walk-ins are always welcome. Holla.
Yes, sir.